Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Language Arts Gallery. Today, we're going to talk about prompt engineering in ChatGPT and how we can use this in our academic writing class to create great academic essays. So let's get started.
Okay, so let's get started talking about interacting with generative artificial intelligence. And we're going to be using ChatGPT as an example. And we're going to start with imperatives and interrogatives. So what is an imperative? An imperative is actually another word for a command. It's when we tell someone what to do, and it's used to give instructions or orders. And an imperative has to begin with an imperative verb. For example, do your homework. Now let's take a look at some sentences and how we can form imperative sentences by adding imperative verbs. Stop talking and do your homework. Share the cookie with your brother. Try this dish. I think you'll like it. Paint a picture of your favorite place to visit. Write an opinion essay on school uniforms. So this last sentence could be an imperative or a command that I give ChatGPT. And imperatives are a great way that we can communicate with generative AI. So let's take a look at interrogatives. What's an interrogative? Well, it's another word for a question. And they're often formed with interrogative words. And we think of these as our WH question words. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. We can also form yes/no questions with modal verbs, words like can or may. And interrogatives are another great way that we can interact with ChatGPT or other forms of generative AI. For example, you might say, can you write a cause and effect essay on global warming? Now, these are just very simple prompts. We're going to get more into prompt engineering in just a moment. So what exactly is artificial intelligence, and do we have to use it? Well, chances are you're probably already using it because AI is everywhere. It's from predictive text on our cell phones or even in our Gmail to the translation software that we use, like Google Translate. So what is ChatGPT? It uses natural language processing, or NLP, which is able to understand and generate natural language on its own. So what do you think determines the quality of the output that we get from ChatGPT? Well, the output that we're going to get from ChatGPT is going to be determined by the input that we give the AI. So at this point, remember, artificial intelligence, we're still a long way away from general AI. Artificial intelligence is only augmenting human intelligence. It's not replacing it. So what's it called when we tell the AI what we want it to do? This is called prompting. And the process of creating an effective prompt to get the output that we want, that's called prompt engineering. So first, the task. The task is where you're giving guidelines to the AI, telling them exactly what you need. This could be something like write an essay. Remember, being specific is important. So you could say write an essay, write a comparative essay, or write a comparative essay using the block method. Okay, so remember, be as specific as possible. Context is another part of prompt engineering. You want to give the model some information that can point it in the right direction. It's going to help it to produce the best response possible. So for example, you might say something like, in recent years, the wealth gap has widened considerably. This has had an impact on education, healthcare, and job opportunities. Write a 5-paragraph essay addressing the impact of income inequality. So this first part here, where we talk about some of the effects of income inequality, that's context. That's giving the artificial intelligence a little bit of context to help it craft a better essay. It's going to be more specific and more precise than if we just said, write a 5-paragraph essay addressing the impact of income inequality. Input data. This is some specific piece of information that you want ChatGPT to consider as it creates its response for you. So for example, you might say you've been provided with a data table that contains educational attainment, access to healthcare, and employment data for Americans of differing socioeconomic status in the last 30 years. Write a 5-paragraph essay addressing the impact of income inequality. So here you're giving it some data. This is really handy when you need to write a summary. Of course, you're going to need to create some type of input for the chatbot so it can properly produce the summary. And finally, the output data. What exactly do you want your output to look like? So here's an example. The output is a 5-paragraph argumentative essay. It should be no more than 1 page double-spaced. It will be assessed on the rhetorical features of the academic essay, spelling, grammar, and vocabulary. So what you're essentially doing here is you're giving the AI clues as to what you expect it to produce. Okay, some suggestions for writing effective prompts. Be clear. Use simple language. Make sure you're not confusing the AI. You don't want to use language that can be misinterpreted. And be specific without being too wordy. You don't want to overwhelm the AI, but you do want to be precise. And we just looked at an example of the importance of context. Give a brief introduction or frame the response that you expect to get from the AI. And think about persona. How do you want the AI to act? And we're going to talk a little bit more about persona prompting in the future. But for example, if you're writing a cause and effect essay on global warming, do you want the AI to reply as a climatologist? Okay, so let's talk about the steps in effective prompt engineering. So first, you need to set your goals. What is it exactly that you want ChatGPT to create? Once you know that, you can write an effective prompt. Remember all those steps we talked about. You have to be specific. Then run your prompt. You need to test it out and see if it's going to give you the output that you're looking for. Finally, and this is really important, once you get the output, you need to analyze it. Is it exactly what you expected? And I'll tell you, it's probably not going to be. So you're probably going to need to make changes. To make the changes, you can go back and you can refine your prompt. So you're going to have to look at where your essay falls short and then think about how you can change your prompt to get the output that you're looking for. And then you repeat those steps until you get the output that you're looking for. Okay. After you refine your prompt, run it again, analyze your output, refine the prompt again. So you need to constantly repeat that. Okay, so those last couple steps, that's where you really need to understand what a good academic essay looks like. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to be able to effectively analyze the essay and analyze the output that ChatGPT is giving you. So while AI is great, remember, it doesn't hold all the answers. We have to have knowledge of academic writing, knowledge of the structure and the features of an academic essay, and that is going to help us to use ChatGPT to improve and to streamline the writing process and give us even better output.
Thank you guys so much for joining me for another video on generative AI in the writing classroom. Please remember to click like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Tell me how you feel about artificial intelligence in the writing classroom. And I'll see you guys again in our next video.